Welcome to the Classic Soap Operas podcast. Get ready to pull up a comfy chair and settle in, because today we're doing a fascinating deep dive. We're looking into a corner of television history that's, well, as dramatic and captivating as any storyline you've ever seen, the golden age of American daytime soap operas. We're going to trace the genre's very origins, explore an unsung pioneer that really broke significant ground, and uncover some truly surprising facts about how these daily dramas didn't just entertain, they actually reshaped the entire television landscape, hooked millions of viewers for decades.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think of it as your exclusive backstage pass to the world of classic TV storytelling. All the juicy details, none of the commercials.
And what's truly fascinating here is, how much we can uncover, how much we can learn about an entire industry from just a few key sources.
Right.
Today, we're taking a deep look at the story of Hawkins Falls, population 6,200. Now, it's a groundbreaking show you might not know by name, but believe me, it left an indelible mark. And we're looking at that alongside some incredibly detailed Nielsen ratings data, stuff spanning over 70 years.
Wow.
So our mission isn't just to tell you about these shows, it's to understand their profound cultural impact, why they resonated so deeply with American audiences, and how they absolutely shaped the very idea of what a soap opera could be on television. It's about understanding the foundational blueprint, the thing upon which so much modern television, from prestige dramas to reality TV, was actually built.
Interesting.
But perhaps most importantly, how an almost unparalleled degree of audience loyalty has been the defining factor in their incredible, almost unbelievable longevity.
Okay, let's unpack this for a moment because, when many of us think of early television, our minds often jump to the iconic sitcoms.
Right. I Love Lucy, Milton Berle.
Exactly. Or the variety shows, maybe.
Yeah.
But lurking just beneath that surface, or perhaps bubbling quite vigorously just below it, the world of daytime drama was burgeoning in a truly unprecedented way. And right there at the forefront, Hawkins Falls, population 6,200, holds this really special, almost mythic place in this early landscape. Now, while it wasn't the absolute first original non-radio derived soap on American television.
Okay, that's an important distinction.
Right. It wasn't just a popular radio show brought directly to the screen, but it holds the crucial distinction of being the first to be truly successful.
And successful back then meant something very specific.
Absolutely key.
Yeah.
It meant unparalleled longevity for its era and a real tangible impact on the nascent television industry that, well, it reverberated for decades to come. This show, Hawkins Falls, managed to run for over 5 consecutive years.
5 years.
From June of 1950 straight through to July of 1955. There was an absolutely significant run in any era of television. But when you consider it was in those pioneering days,
Oh, yeah.
when networks were literally building the medium from the ground up, it's nothing short of monumental.
And if we collect this to the bigger picture, defining successful for a television show in the 1950s wasn't just about, initial viewership.
Right.
It was about capturing a consistent, dedicated audience daily, creating a habit that paved the way for an entire genre that would go on to dominate daytime television for, over half a century?
Easily.
We're talking about a time when television was still very much a new thing, sort of experimental, and certainly a luxury for many households. The number of TV sets in American homes was still growing exponentially. So to not only persuade viewers to tune in daily, but to keep them coming back. Day after day, week after week, for 5 solid years, that was an astonishing feat.
It really was.
To give you a real sense of its early staying power, Hawkins Falls actually held the title of NBC's longest-running soap opera until as late as 1967.
Wow, 1967.
Yeah, when the Doctors finally surpassed it. Imagine that, nearly 2 decades as the standard bearer for a major network.
Incredible.
And something else truly fascinating about its origin that speaks to the logistical challenges of early TV. It was broadcast entirely live from the heart of Chicago, Illinois.
Live, every day.
Every single day, live. Picture the sheer coordination required. Managing actors, intricate sets, multiple cameras, all in real time. No margin for error.
Wow.
That speaks volumes about the raw talent and the demanding production environment of the era. It was a pressure cooker, but one that forged resilience.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, and frankly, a bit unexpected. Hawkins Falls didn't even start as the daily 15-minute soap opera that we now remember.
No.
No. It actually began its life as a primetime 1-hour weekly comedy drama on NBC, debuting on June 17th and running through October 12th, 1950.
Prime time, an hour.
Yeah. So for a brief period, it had this very different persona, airing in the evening, a much longer format, a completely different type of show.
Huh.
But then on April 1951, something truly pivotal happened, something that arguably redefined television itself. It moved to a 15-minute daytime slot.
Okay.
And crucially, it was simultaneously retitled Hawkins Falls, a television novel. This is the moment it truly began to develop into the serialized soap opera format that we recognize.
So that was the turning point.
It's like they discovered its true calling, didn't they? They were experimenting, testing the waters, and then suddenly this specific niche just clicked into place.
Right.
What does this tell us about the early television landscape?
Mm-hmm.
How networks were literally figuring things out on the fly, constantly adapting and innovating.
Well, yeah.
It really seems like they were just trying everything, throwing concepts at the wall to see what would stick. And this one, well, it didn't just stick, it became super glue for an entire genre.
This shift, from prime time to daytime and the condensation from an hour weekly to 15 minutes daily, it raises an incredibly important question about the strategic thinking behind early television programming.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just a random scheduling change. It was a highly calculated move that definitively carved out and defined the daytime soap opera genre.
Right.
Primetime television was rapidly evolving towards more episodic narratives, stories that would largely resolve themselves within a single hour each week.
Self-contained.
Exactly. The daytime slot, however, offered this unique opportunity for continuous, serialized storytelling. The 15-minute format was perfectly designed for the home viewer, often women, right, who might be doing chores, preparing lunch, managing a household during the day.
Fit into the daily rhythm.
Precisely. It offered a digestible, bite-sized piece of ongoing drama that fit seamlessly into their daily routine, provided an escape without demanding an hour-long, undivided commitment. This strategic differentiation was, it was a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
And the connection to the very term soap opera is so direct and foundational here. Hawkins Falls was directly sponsored by Unilever's now iconic blue detergent, Surf.
Surf detergent, okay.
These shows, with their consistent, engaged female audience, were the ideal vehicles for advertising household cleaning products. So the commercial relationship literally cemented the genre's name, forever linking these captivating dramas to laundry day and dishwashing. It's a powerful example of how commercial interests and creative development were intrinsically tied in the pioneering days of television, each shaping the other in profound ways.
So if viewers were tuning into this groundbreaking television novel every day, what kind of world were they immersing themselves in? You mentioned the setting.
Right. The town of Hawkins Falls itself was almost a character, meticulously patterned after the real-life small town of Woodstock, Illinois.
Okay, Woodstock. I know it.
And this wasn't just a random choice. It deeply grounded the drama in this relatable Midwestern small-town milieu, which held immense appeal for audiences across America.
That makes sense. Comforting, familiar.
Exactly. Many viewers were looking for stories that reflected or maybe even idealized their own communities, or at least offered a window into a seemingly simpler life. Initially, the central focus was the Drewer family.
The Drewers, okay.
We had Lona Drewer, played by Bernadine Flynn, and her husband, Nap Drewer, portrayed by Frank Dane. They were the original couple audiences invested in, watching their daily lives, their triumphs, their inevitable tribulations unfold in this ostensibly idyllic small town.
But as any soap opera fan knows, idyllic rarely lasts.
Right. Yeah.
And real-life drama has a way of spilling onto the set.
You're absolutely right. The heart of any truly enduring soap opera is its characters. The personal investments viewers make in their journeys. Hawkins Falls was no exception. Lona and Nap Drewer were indeed the initial anchors, but their story took an unexpected and rather dramatic turn.
Oh.
One that perfectly illustrates the real-life chaos that could directly impact these live productions. Now, this next bit is a truly classic tale from the very early days of television, and it hilariously set a precedent for countless behind-the-scenes dramas that would play out over the next 70 years.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
After the first year, the actor Frank Dane, who played Nap Drewer, reportedly began to feel, indispensable. Let's just say he was supremely confident in his burgeoning star power. He made some rather firm demands. More money, naturally, but perhaps even more disruptively, fewer hours on set.
Okay, standard demands, maybe.
Maybe, but in a move that truly set the model for countless future encounters between imprudent stars and the determined management of a daily production, Dane simply walked off the set.
He just walked during a live show era.
He flat out refused to return until his demands were met.
Oh, wow. Imagine the panic behind the scenes for a live show. You can't just stop production and recast instantly. What did it do?
Exactly. You can just imagine the absolute chaos, the frantic script rewrites behind the scenes. The producers and writers faced with this delightful and immediate dilemma. How do you explain the sudden disappearance of a main character when the actor has literally vanished?
Right.
They crafted a script that sent Mr. Drewer on a plane flight that was, shall we say, lost over the sea.
Lost over the sea? No way.
There was no body, no wreckage found, just a tragic disappearance into the vastness of the ocean. It was a very decisive and quite dramatically effective way to handle a talent dispute, wouldn't you agree?
That's incredible. So he was unalived by the writers.
He wasn't just written out. He was dramatically and quite permanently unalived by the sheer immensity of the ocean. A very neat solution, really.
That's one way to resolve a contract dispute. I love that.
It absolutely set the standard. And true to soap opera form, life and love had to go on in Hawkins Falls. After Knapp's dramatic and watery exit, Lona, ever the resilient soap opera heroine, found love again and married Floyd Corey, the compassionate town doctor.
Oh, the town doctor.
Exactly. They quickly became the new central couple, proving that even after such a profound loss, the narrative thrust of a soap opera demands new relationships and ongoing drama.
Always moving forward.
Beyond them, the town was populated by this rich tapestry of memorable characters. There was Clayt Weathers, the ever-observant town newspaper editor.
Always knows everything.
You bet. Shirley had his hands full trying to report on and perhaps discreetly manage all the local gossip and daily crises. Then we had the upright and righteous Belinda Catherwood.
Ah, yes, the moral compass.
A classic archetype in any good small-town drama, perpetually trying to keep everyone in line, or at least trying to enforce a moral code amidst the inevitable transgressions.
Mm-hmm.
And in a refreshing change of pace from all the constant drama and marital woes, there were the happily married Leofin and Millie Flagle.
Oh, a happy couple. In a soap.
Apparently. Probably provided a much-needed touch of stability and domestic bliss amidst the daily chaos. A rare beacon of marital harmony.
Good for them.
Other notable cast members drawn from our sources who contributed to this rich tapestry included accomplished actors like Jim Bannon, Maurice Copeland, Arthur Peterson, and impressively the legendary Hugh Downs.
Hugh Downs, really.
Not only narrated the show, but also acted as an announcer for the series, lending his gravitas to the daily proceedings. We also saw talents like Tom Poston and Hope Summers grace the screen. These actors, many of whom were seasoned veterans of radio drama, brought these characters to life in such a compelling way. They truly resonated with audiences, making the residents of Hawkins Falls feel like extensions of their own communities, their own neighbors.
Imagine, truly imagine, producing a show like this, live from Chicago, every single day. The sheer pressure must have been just immense, almost unimaginable by today's standards.
Oh, absolutely.
There were no do-overs, no editing in post-production to fix a flubbed line or a misplaced prop. Everything had to be perfect, or perfectly recoverable, right there in the moment.
High wire act.
It truly speaks volumes about the raw talent, the sheer grit, and the incredible discipline involved in early television production. These artists and technicians had to be quick on their feet, infinitely adaptable, and incredibly disciplined, performing under the constant glare of live cameras. And speaking of talent and legacy, there's an interesting casting connection that bridges the worlds of radio and early television. Art Van Harvey and Bernardine Flynn, who played Lona Drewer for Hawkins Falls' entire run.
Right.
They had actually spent over a decade together as the beloved title characters in the incredibly popular radio series Vic and Sed.
Oh, Vic's and Sad, of course.
So they came to Hawkins Falls with this pre-existing, deeply ingrained professional chemistry and a shared understanding of daily serialized drama.
That must have helped.
It's worth noting, however, that while Bernardine Flynn was a constant as Lena, Art Van Harvey only joined the cast briefly in 1954, so their time together on screen in Hawkins Falls was short, but their extensive shared history in radio drama added another layer of fascinating background and expertise to the production.
Right. Despite the often staggering logistical challenges of live production, which were, as you said, truly substantial, Hawkins Falls wasn't just a technical marvel, it was genuinely well-received by critics and, most importantly, by its dedicated audience. Billboard magazine, which was a highly influential voice in entertainment back then, reviewed it favorably. They specifically compared it positively with its radio soap counterparts, calling it pleasurable viewing.
Pleasurable viewing.
Nice. This critical reception is crucial because it indicates that Hawkins Falls successfully translated the beloved and incredibly popular radio drama format to the then novel visual medium of television.
It worked on screen.
It proved that these compelling, character-driven stories could hold an audience's attention just as powerfully, maybe even more so, when viewers could actually see the characters, their expressions, the details of their surroundings, rather than just imagining them. It confirmed the visual potential of the genre. However, this raises an incredibly important and unfortunately a bit of a bittersweet question about our historical understanding and the preservation of early television. Out of the literally hundreds of episodes produced during its rigorous 5-year run, only approximately 15 are known to survive today.
15 out of 5 years of daily shows.
Just 15. Imagine that countless hours of groundbreaking drama, intricate character development, pioneering television production, simply lost to time.
That's tragic, really.
We know that 5 specific Kinescope episodes, dating from May 1953 through June 1955, are thankfully held at the Walter J. Brown Media Archives at the University of Georgia.
And scopes. Those were film recordings of a TV screen, right?
Exactly. Essentially film recordings of live television broadcasts. They were one of the only ways to preserve these ephemeral, one-time only moments in early TV history before videotape became widely available.
Right.
This extreme scarcity of surviving episodes means that our understanding of Hawkins Falls' full impact and narrative relies heavily on fragmented historical accounts, critical reviews from the time, and most crucially, the detailed ratings data that we're about to get into.
Okay, so the ratings become even more important.
Absolutely. It makes our deep dive even more vital for you, the listener, as we piece together its legacy almost like historical detectives, reconstructing a significant piece of broadcast history from the limited evidence available.
So, having explored the pioneering spirit and the on-set dramas of Hawkins Falls, the obvious next question is, how did it truly stack up against its fledgling competitors? And how did its initial success ripple out into the broader landscape of American television? To truly understand its place and the place of all subsequent soaps in television history, we need to talk about ratings. And these aren't just dry statistical numbers that only industry insiders care about. They tell a vibrant, unfolding story about what America was watching, how audience preferences shifted dramatically over the decades, and crucially, how the genre itself evolved and adapted.
Exactly. They're a narrative in themselves.
When we refer to Nielsen Media Research ratings for television, we're discussing the estimated percentage of all TV households in the United States watching a particular show in a given year. So if a show had, say, a 10% rating...
Which is huge back then.
Huge. It meant that approximately 10% of all TV-owning households in the entire country were tuned in. That's a truly massive, almost unfathomable audience, especially when you consider that in the early days, far fewer homes even had a TV set, making that 10% an even more concentrated slice of the viewing pie.
This is absolutely essential context. For anyone attempting to understand the trajectory of television history and the evolving dynamics of audience behavior, it's also incredibly important to acknowledge that the methodology for collecting and reporting these Nielsen ratings has undergone significant transformations over time.
Okay. How so?
Well, it reflects not only advances in technology, but also fundamental shifts in viewing habits. For instance, prior to 1996, the season averages for ratings typically included data only from late September through mid-April, focusing on what was traditionally considered the core television season.
The main fall to spring season.
Right. However, since 1996, the numbers we see represent full-year ratings, generally from September through September, providing a much more continuous and comprehensive measurement of a show's performance throughout the entire year, including summer reruns and special programming.
Got it. Year-round tracking.
Furthermore, for the more recent data, specifically beginning with the 2013-14 season, ratings predominantly count what's known as live plus same-day households.
Live plus same day, meaning watching it live or maybe DVRing it and watching later that day.
Exactly. It primarily captures viewers who watch the show either live as it aired or within the same broadcast day, reflecting that immediate engagement. Older data, particularly from the pre-DVR and pre-on-demand era, would have factored in delayed viewing either very differently or often not at all.
So comparing a 1950s rating to a 2020s rating isn't quite apples to apples because of how it's measured.
Precisely. This subtle but significant shift in measurement highlights how the industry itself has had to adapt to changing viewer habits and the ever-increasing ways people can consume content beyond the linear broadcast schedule. But despite these methodological refinements, the core concept remains consistent. It's all about capturing household engagement and understanding audience reach.
Okay.
And when you look at these snapshots over decades, they reveal profound, sometimes seismic, trends in how America consumed its daily dose of drama.
Okay, let's zoom in on Hawkins Falls in its absolute prime, because its initial performance is truly telling about the appetite for this new kind of television.
Yeah.
In its very first full season as a daily daytime soap, the 1950-1951 season, it burst onto the scene and clinched the #1 spot among daytime soaps. #1 right out of the gate, pulling in a fantastic 13.7% rating. Just think about the immediate impact of that in those really early formative days of television, when the medium itself was still largely a novelty for many households. To be the top show in a brand new, still defining genre, capturing such a significant chunk of the nascent TV-owning households, it's nothing short of impressive. It wasn't just a hit. It proved definitively that there was a hungry, eager audience for these new serialized dramas.
Absolutely proved the concept.
But, as we know from any good soap opera storyline, nothing stays at the top forever. What was the competitive landscape like as it started to face challengers? What happened next?
Indeed, you're right. While Hawkins Falls launched with incredible strength and undeniably proved the viability of the genre, it couldn't maintain its #1 position indefinitely. In the very next season, 1951-1952, it slipped to #3.
Number 3 already.
Even though its rating held steady at a respectable 13.7%. So this wasn't necessarily a decline in its own viewership as much as it was the rapid entry and ascendancy of new giants in the burgeoning daytime market.
New competition.
It was quickly surpassed by Search for Tomorrow, which, upon its debut, immediately seized the #1 spot with a 14.1% rating. And Love of Life, which came in a close second at 13.9%. This clearly illustrates just how quickly the daytime television landscape was expanding and becoming fiercely competitive even in those nascent years. New shows, sensing the success of Hawkins Falls, quickly entered the fray, vying for that dedicated daytime audience.
The gold rush was on.
You could say that. The following season, 1952-1953, saw Search for Tomorrow truly cement its dominance, reaching an astonishing all-time high of 16.1% in daytime soap ratings.
16%, wow.
That figure, remarkably, remains the current record for daytime soap ratings to this very day.
Still the record, after all these years.
Still the record. It's an incredible testament to its widespread appeal and sheer viewership power in that era. During this period, Hawkins Falls remained consistent at 13.7% and held steady at #3, indicating a deeply loyal, albeit perhaps not rapidly growing, audience that continued to tune in consistently.
Still strong, but not growing.
Right. However, in its final years, Hawkins Falls did experience a more noticeable decline in its rating share. It dropped to 11.7% in 1953-1954, placing it at #4, and then saw a more significant dip to 7.7% in its final 1954-1955 season, pushing it down to #8.
Okay, a definite slide towards the end.
This trend unequivocally illustrates the rapidly expanding and increasingly fragmented landscape of television. More shows were debuting, more channels were becoming available, audience attention was becoming spread thinner, even back then.
Makes sense.
It's also crucial to remember that some of these early competitors, like The Guiding Light.
Guiding Light, huge name.
Huge. It actually had a significant head start, having been a popular radio drama since 1937 before its television debut in 1952.
Right, that built-in audience.
Exactly. This pre-existing massive fan base gave them an inherent advantage in the nascent TV market. Overall, the 1950s rankings clearly show Search for Tomorrow, The Guiding Light, and Love of Life cementing their place as the undisputed top 3, laying the crucial groundwork for the future of the entire genre.
So Hawkins Falls really set the stage, opened the curtain on this new era of television. But what did the rest of the 20th and even 21st century hold for these serialized dramas? Looking at the full ratings list paints a truly fascinating, almost epic picture of shifting titans, enduring legacies, and incredible resilience.
It really does.
It's like the shows themselves, full of new characters rising to prominence, others fading, fresh storylines unfolding year after year. You can literally see the drama, the competition, the loyalty playing out in the numbers themselves, mapping decades of American viewing habits.
This is precisely where we see the genre truly mature and solidify its place as an absolute cultural phenomenon. In the 1960s, a new, undisputed champion dramatically emerged as the world turns.
As the world turns. Another giant.
This show consistently held the #1 spot for much of the decade, often with ratings comfortably well into the double digits, for example, hitting an impressive 15.4% in 63-64 and a solid 14.5% in 64-65.
So huge numbers.
It was an undeniable powerhouse, reflecting a truly massive, deeply dedicated viewership tuning in daily. This decade wasn't just about one dominant show, though. It was also a period of immense growth for the genre as a whole.
More shows launching.
Many new shows debuting, some of which became legends in their own right, like General Hospital in 1963 and Days of Our Lives in 1965.
And both are still on. Incredible.
Both still on air today, a testament to their incredible foresight and enduring appeal. Moving into the 1970s, as the world turns, largely maintained its dominance for the first half of the decade, often sharing the top spots with other established heavyweights like Another World and Days of Our Lives.
Still strong then.
Ratings remained robust, typically in the 9–12% range, showcasing the genre's continued widespread appeal. However, as the 70s drew to a close, a new wave of shows began making serious inroads, indicating a fascinating shift in audience favorites and a diversifying appeal.
Who started challenging them?
For example, All My Children, known for its more contemporary and often socially relevant storylines, took the #1 spot in the 1978-1979 season, and General Hospital began its meteoric rise.
Ah, GH.
This was a truly dynamic period. New characters, bold storylines, continually captivating viewers, and reflecting changing societal values.
Things were heating up.
By the 1980s, the landscape had fully shifted. General Hospital often took the lead, particularly during its unprecedented peak in the early 80s, hitting an astonishing 11.4% in 80-81 and 11.2% in 81-82.
Luke and Laura era.
Exactly. This era was defined by super couples like Luke and Laura, whose wedding was a national event watched by more than 30 million people, a number unheard of for a daytime show today.
30 million, wow.
It shared the top with All My Children and the rapidly ascendant The Young and the Restless.
Y&R enters the chat.
Right. This period showcased a fierce, almost gladiatorial competition for viewership, yet the overall ratings remained incredibly strong across the board, clearly demonstrating the genre's broad and still incredibly loyal appeal to millions of households. The 80s were, for many, the true golden age for these shows. Iconic theme songs, over-the-top glamour, gripping narratives.
Definitely peak soap for many.
And then from the late 1980s, specifically beginning with the 1988-1989 season, The Young and the Restless began an almost unparalleled, truly historic reign at the top.
The Y&R dynasty begins.
It has consistently topped the ratings charts with remarkable consistency ever since. From an 8.1% rating in 88-89, it continued its dominance through the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and all the way through to the most recent 2023-2024 season.
Over 35 years at #1. That's staggering.
Just think about that for a moment. A single show that has been the most watched daytime soap for over 35 consecutive years. That is an extraordinary, almost miraculous testament to its enduring storytelling, its consistently compelling character development, and its ability to connect with multiple generations of viewers, a feat truly unparalleled in the history of broadcast television.
Absolutely mind-blowing consistency.
This long-term data also reveals a macro trend that is absolutely crucial for understanding the broader media landscape.
Okay.
A gradual but undeniably significant decline in overall viewership percentages for even the top-rated soaps. From the 1950s, where top shows like Search for Tomorrow pulled in that remarkable 13–16%, we observe a steady and consistent decrease through each successive decade. By the 2000s, top ratings had settled into the 3–5% range, and by the 2020s, they've generally stabilized in the 2–3% range.
Wow, from 16% down to 2–3% for the top show. That's a huge drop.
It is. Now, it's vital to emphasize that this decline is not a reflection of a decrease in the quality of the shows themselves, nor a sudden lack of storytelling prowess.
Right.
Instead, it is a direct consequence of the immense fragmentation of media and the explosion of choice that has occurred in entertainment.
Cable TV, VCRs, DVRs, internet streaming.
Exactly. The proliferation of cable channels, the introduction of VCRs and later DVRs, the rise of the internet, followed by streaming services and countless online content platforms. All of these have meant that audience attention is now spread incredibly thin across an almost infinite landscape of choices.
That's a profound point. It raises an even more important question for us. What does this dramatic shift, this fragmentation, tell us about the future of traditional long-form serialized storytelling on broadcast television? And how do these enduring shows, which were once the dominant force, continue to adapt, innovate, and survive in such a radically changed environment?
Yeah, it's the key question.
It's truly remarkable, despite these seismic shifts, that 4 classic soaps, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, The Young and the Restless, and The Bold and the Beautiful, are still on air today.
Right.
That in itself is an incredible feat of longevity and adaptability in the ever-changing, hyper-competitive world of television.
Absolutely. It's quite something.
When we look back at the journey of shows like Hawkins Falls and its successors, it's clear they weren't just simple entertainment to fill the daytime hours. They were foundational.
Mm-hmm.
They were pioneers in a brand new, uncharted medium. Think about it. From grappling with difficult actors who literally decided to whack off set mid-story,
Right, the Frank Dane maneuver.
forcing immediate on-the-fly script rewrites, to figuring out the complex logistics of how to craft and deliver a compelling narrative day after day, year after year. For decades, they innovated. They solved problems that no one had ever faced before in broadcasting, crafting the very blueprint for serialized storytelling that so much of modern television relies on.
Yeah.
They were, in essence, the original television problem solvers, continuously crafting ingenious solutions under immense pressure.
This aspect is absolutely critical for truly understanding television history, how TV evolved from a novel invention into a cultural behemoth. The demands of live production originating from Chicago meant rapid story changes and this constant, insatiable need for fresh plot lines and character development.
Just feeding the beast every day.
Exactly. The continuous character arcs unfolding over months and years, building intricate relationship webs, these were all immense, invaluable learning experiences that directly informed every subsequent form of TV production across all genres. The ability to churn out high-quality content daily, to meticulously maintain complex character arcs over literal decades, and to cultivate an intensely loyal, almost familial audience was truly perfected in the crucible of the daily soap opera format.
Right.
Consider this, the very serialized nature of storytelling, the masterful reliance on cliffhangers to compel viewers to tune in tomorrow.
I love the cliffhangers.
The shocking plot twists that keep audiences guessing. The multi-generational family sagas that span decades, these fundamental elements that are now core to many of today's most acclaimed prestige dramas and binge-worthy streaming series.
Look.
They were honed, refined, and perfected in the daily grind of shows like Hawkins Falls, As the World Turns, and General Hospital. They invented long-form narrative before it was even a recognized concept, building immersive worlds that millions could get utterly lost in day after day. They created the first true shared universe viewing experience.
That connection to modern TV is so clear when you think about it. And for many people, these shows weren't just some background noise playing while they did their chores or a casual distraction. For millions, they were a deeply ingrained daily ritual.
An appointment.
An almost sacred appointment. And a profoundly personal connection to a fictional world that felt incredibly, undeniably real. Viewers would meticulously plan their day around the broadcast times, gathering with friends or family to discuss the latest developments, dissecting plot twists, truly investing emotionally in the characters' triumphs, tragedies, betrayals.
Yeah. Water cooler talk started here.
What stands out to you about that kind of deep, personal, almost ritualistic connection that these shows managed to forge with their audience? It feels like something that might be a bit lost in today's hyper-fragmented, on-demand viewing landscape, doesn't it? It's a sustained, consistent bond.
It's a powerful observation, and it leads to one of the most significant legacies of the genre. The sheer longevity of so many of these series, some running for 50, 60, even 80 years if you count Radio Origins, speaks to an incredible, almost unbreakable bond with the audience that transcends mere entertainment. These were not just shows. They became genuine companions, weaving themselves into the daily fabric of millions of lives. For decades, they provided a consistent source of escape, melodrama, profound emotional catharsis, and a tangible sense of community for viewers who felt like they knew these characters, warts and all, better than some of their own neighbors.
They felt like family.
They were pioneers in exploring complex human relationships, the intricate dynamics of families, the inevitable love triangles, and even subtly integrating contemporary societal issues, from medical ethics to changing gender roles. While their overall ratings may have declined in the modern era due to media fragmentation, the genre's legacy is undeniable. Its unparalleled ability to cultivate extraordinary viewer loyalty and to provide a consistent, emotionally resonant narrative that, for decades, was truly unlike anything else available on television. The stories we've touched on today, like the demanding star who was dramatically unalived by a plane crash over the sea.
Still can't get over that one.
Or the constant, almost frenetic need for fresh, dramatic plot lines and cliffhangers to keep viewers hooked. These aren't just quirky anecdotes or fun trivia. They are prime, real-world examples of a dynamic, demanding industry, constantly adapting, innovating, and sometimes brilliantly improvising to keep viewers invested, despite unprecedented challenges.
Yeah.
This foundational lesson in engaging and retaining an audience through thick and thin, through unexpected cast changes, through network shifts, through changing tastes, is still profoundly relevant today for every content creator. It's a powerful testament to the enduring power of compelling characters and continuous storytelling, a power that the classic soap operas mastered long before anyone else even conceived of it. They proved that daily, ongoing narrative, crafted with skill and genuine emotional resonance, could build an unbreakable connection that lasts lifetimes.
Wow. As we wrap up our deep dive into the fascinating world of classic soap operas, from their pioneering days with Hawkins Falls to their multi-decade reign, it really makes you stop and wonder. In an age of instant gratification, binge-watching, countless streaming options where we can devour an entire season in a single weekend, what truly profound lessons can we take from the enduring appeal of these daily dramas? These were shows that kept millions coming back day after day for decades on end. Is there something inherent about that slow-burn, character-driven storytelling, that consistent presence and ritual in viewers' lives, that perhaps we're inadvertently missing in our current, fast-paced, fragmented media landscape today?
It's a really good question.
Perhaps the greatest legacy of shows like Hawkins Falls isn't just their pioneering spirit, but the enduring blueprint they provided for creating deep connection and sustained anticipation with an audience, one dramatic turn at a time.
Well said.
We hope you thoroughly enjoyed this journey through the early days and the incredible, enduring legacy of classic soap operas. This has been such a blast to uncover and share these stories with you.
It really has.
If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, or even if you just learned something surprising about the origins of modern TV, please do us a huge favor.
Yeah, please do.
Go ahead and like this deep dive, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventure, and definitely comment below. We truly want to hear your thoughts, your favorite classic soap opera memories, or even which deep dive topic you'd like us to tackle next. Your engagement keeps us going and helps us bring more of these amazing stories to life.
We love hearing from you.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.